out which way to make the cameras look the best.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our live stream. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. As you know, we are coming to you live every Thursday at 7:30 now. From 7:30 to 8:30, we'll be here for an hour. We'll be answering your questions. We'll be talking about our week. We'll be decompressing from today because it was wild and hectic, and we have been all over the city and back again. And we are just settling down, settling in, barely getting into this live stream on time for all of you. And we have our tea brewing. We have a nice ginger herbal tea to help calm us, bring us down a little bit.
Yeah, today has been a mess. It's a good mess for the most part, but it's still just. We did have like a 30-minute little stop in the middle, and it was just like, take a breather, wait, and then hop on a Zoom call, drive to another meeting, hang out there, come here. It's been a day. Oh, and there was stuff that happened before that breather.
Yeah.
So real quick, we're starting off, so let's get to a little bit of this. I want to give a little bit of a heads up, like we are doing the Facebook Live and the Instagram Live at the same time on two different things. So at some points we might look over here, we might comment to someone on Facebook and just read it out loud to people on Instagram or vice versa. Put up with it.
Hi, everyone.
We're getting better technology. It'll work itself out eventually.
Yes.
To start off, we are Crispix Photography. This is Red. This is Chris. Nia is not here, Matt is not here, Cody's not here. There's several other people that don't get to be a part of this weekly live broadcast, but still a shout out to the team that makes everything possible. Again, Crispix Photography, crispixphotography.com. We officially hit our YouTube subscriber list numbers, and so now we have an official youtube.com/Crispix Photography instead of youtube.com/GXQ4879. It's much easier to tell people. We do have a TikTok.
So make sure that you go subscribe to our YouTube channel because we just got it. It's a big deal for us. So leave our live stream and go contribute to it, and then come back, subscribe to it, whatever the word is.
Yeah, you can contribute to it if you want. There's a
there's a link. There's a link.
We are waving at Instagram people.
Hey Matt, I'm glad
Matt's
that you're here. Yay!
All right, so
welcome,
you could at least join us via live stream.
So anyone who has questions for Matt, he's here too.
So back to the thing, we do have a TikTok, Crispix Photography. Instagram is Crispix396. It's the only one that is not branded, only because whenever I changed the name to Crispix Photography, everyone was like, what the hell is this? And then I tried making just a separate Crispix Photography, and nobody would join it because they were already my friends as Crispix396. So it just became a headache, and now it just lives on its own. So Instagram people, yeah, that's it.
Shout out.
We do have a monthly newsletter that goes out. We have little recaps and specials and things like that. Go to the website, sign up. Okay, the advertisement section of this commentary is over, and now we will go into, life and questions.
All right, yes. Questions, comments, concerns. We are...
Oh, no.
Oh, we're sorry to hear that you're sick. Nope. Hold on, I did not mean to like that. My bad.
Yeah, when someone posts that like they're sick, it's really sad when you like it. But even like caring is silly. Let me give you a hug. No, I don't really want to get sick either.
Valid. I hope that you feel better soon.
Yeah. But thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. We are here. We are live. We are recovering from the day. I keep eyeing this tea over in the corner that I'm about to pour for us.
If you are on Facebook, I'm going to cut her off real quick. If you have seen Fable's work, amazing fantasy portraiture. Give them a little shout out. Good job. Thanks, Matt.
Matt asks, how do you guys stay consistently awesome? I struggle with it a lot. We don't struggle.
Yeah.
We just stay awesome.
Yeah, sometimes it's not consistent, but it's because of people like you, Matt. That's how we do it. Um, yeah, we get to kind of finally relax. We've been trying to do. Fable had mentioned that like it sounds hectic. The day has been nuts, but we can finally relax. Except that live streaming is still not exactly comfortable.
Yeah, we're still getting used to this.
We
We love you all, but like being in front of just two cameras while talking to you all is weird because we'd rather just have you here. But obviously, we can't have you here yet, but we will. We want to have an open studio sometime this year to have people come through and say hi and do all of the things, but we gotta wait for this surge to go down a little bit.
oh, thank you. Um, yeah, it's 25 years in the making to get to this level.
Exactly.
The Yeah, so we started off and it was we were just doing Facebook, and I have my personal Facebook page, and then we have the work Facebook page, and I don't know, just starting off, if you watch some of the first podcasts, it's I already say a lot. There's so many people that have just a much better flow of being used to being online, or online game playing and talking to a camera. I don't have that. I'm the one behind the camera, so as soon as this one and this one are pointing at me, it just immediately starts to panic a little bit. Um, Luckily, we have some people who ask questions every now and then. Shannon has asked, I have a question regarding underwater photography. Do you find that the pictures come out better if the pool has light or dark plaster, or does it really not matter? It absolutely matters. If I had like a dream pool that I got to and like design on my own, it would probably have a dark wall and then a light wall. The worst thing is that for some reason, and like a lot of pools, they'll do like the speckling, and it's sort of like on a bus. If you ever travel mass transit, have been on any sort of airplane, bus, something with a lot of people, the patterns in the fabric of the seats are very busy and noisy, so that you don't notice all the vomit or the snot that's been rubbed on them. Pools are sort of the same way. Like they're like, oh, we're going to throw all this speckly stuff in here all over the place because it will distract the eye from any discoloration that happens, or if you haven't done a good job of cleaning the pool. When you're doing underwater photography, probably the worst part is trying, like you'll go in and try to clean up the background, and you are selecting a bright plaster color, and then there's the dark speckles. And it's not like you can just select the background because they're two different shades. And just the cleanup alone on trying to go in and clean up all the like speckles that are in the background is nuts. So we're kind of this year we're doing like a big underwater kind of push, and one thing that we're working on a sort of underwater backdrop contraption that will allow us to take basically like a 20 by 10 backdrop into the water that will keep it tight. One thing that we've run into underwater photography was taking, you start off and you're just like, I'm going to shoot with just the plaster, but then sometimes that's not really moody enough because you really want that just darkness in the deep. You don't know how deep it is, kind of thing. So then we started bringing in tarps and fabric and things like that, except that when you're underwater, just the slightest wave and the whole thing just comes up and gets in the photo. When we shot Brianna underwater last year, we used a giant like 20-foot by 30-foot tarp. Cool idea, except for whenever you actually went to go do it. We took all sorts of weights. We took, kettlebells and different like waterproof weights and things like that out there with us. Give us a second. I'll wait till Red's out of my face. But we took all these like kettlebells and things underwater, and you try to just push down this tarp, and I mean you're pushing
Impossible task.
you're pushing water with a fabric. Like you kind of have to think of like you have water on one side, you have a fabric, and then you have water. But when you push the fabric, you're just pushing water, which means that water all has to move somewhere. And when it moves, sometimes it moves out the side, sometimes it goes back down the bottom, and just screws up everything else you just did to try to smooth it out. So this year we're going into a little bit more of a very structured sort of backdrop holder that will go in and keep everything nice and tight to be able to
Have
provide a consistent background.
Yeah.
With Brianna's shoot, where I was getting at with that was it kind of worked out neat at times because the way that a tarp is, it's very stiff, and it's you know, if you tried to like mess with it, like it's crinkly, and it's definitely does not want to fold or be smooth easily. So when we were shooting, there were some parts where it just was kind of bulging up, and it almost looks like giant boulders or something or underwater, and that she's actually in this like deep rocky
deep
cave kind of
yeah.
sinkhole or something. And some of that actually came out pretty neat. But it was, I mean, I would rather have that be an intention and not it be a happy accident. Happy accidents are wonderful, but then when you have someone that's like, oh, I really love that rocky look, can you do it again? And you're like, nope. Got lucky on that one.
So we have been on here for a few minutes, and when we first joined, we mentioned that we were brewing some tea, and we extended an invite for all of you who are viewing with us to make some tea with us. So our tea has finished brewing, so we're going to go ahead and raise our tea glasses, and cheers to us, and here's to you, and here's to today, and to tomorrow.
Yeah. Today has been a mess. Again, those of you that know me know that I consider myself a creative, and part of a thing that I feel comes with creativity is being a night owl. I feel like most of the creative people that I know are very like, let me work all night long. I hate the mornings. I don't like the sunshine. All the magic seems to happen at night. And today we did not get to start at night. Today started at 7 in the morning, which to some people is not that early. To a night owl, it's pretty early. And then we had to drive to 290 and 99-ish, 290 in Barker Cypress, which also, like, there's a reason I avoid morning rush hour traffic and I try not to live that kind of life. I have a lot of like respect, but also like a lot of just like silly wonder to how people do that every single day. If you are a person who gets up and has to go sit in rush hour traffic to and from work every single day, I have a lot of
We salute you.
respect is, I mean, for just being able to put up with that. So, good job. For those of you that do that, you probably need a glass of tea also. But that's also why we had to move the live stream from 6:30 to 7:30, was so that it actually gave people enough time to sit in traffic and get home and get in front of their computer.
And come and join us and have tea while we calm down and relax and de-stress a little from the day. Hang out with all of you. Hopefully you are relaxing and de-stressing from the day too, and just sharing some nice juicy space with us where you get to just breathe a little bit and see what happens next and just kind of go with the flow of things, I suppose.
Or ask us fun questions and find out interesting information, whatever you want.
But for now, I'm going to do something very cheesy. I'm going to ask everyone to just take a deep breath with me.
Oh, what a yoga class.
I know. Breathe in for 2 and out for 2. Thank you, everyone. we now return to our regular scheduled programming. Shannon says, thank you for that info. I wish I had asked this question last week. We selected a medium plaster and we added speckles, but nothing with a high contrast. I know the pics will be awesome. Yes, super stoked to shoot in your new pool. Have been thinking about outfit ideas already, so we will get with that on later. Yeah, I'm stoked. We have some designers in Houston that we've reached out to, so I think that we're gonna have some really cool stuff coming your way this summer.
Yeah. And anybody who is thinking about it or interested, we're doing like a little bit of an underwater push this summer. Last year we kind of had these hopes and goals of doing a lot more time at the water and doing some underwater things, and then it just didn't really happen. This year we are really trying to push a lot harder. We've got 2 pieces of new equipment, plus hopefully this little like background contraption that we're trying to construct that will get that'll help us out a lot. Does anybody have any questions? While you think of your questions and type them in somewhere, I'll give you a little recap of this week. Last Thursday we went live, we covered that. Friday, what did we do this weekend?
I wasn't here.
Oh yeah, that's right, you went out. Fred went to Beaumont. I think I mainly just edited and worked all weekend. We had and was lazy. I definitely took some time off. Lazy is not the right term. I actually took some time off and just kind of relaxed a little bit in between also needing to edit a bunch of stuff. I just remembered one of our magazine ads that's due today was not submitted, so I need to try to get that done tonight. Monday, we've had Mia working with us this week. Monday we did something.
Monday was Valentine's Day.
Oh yeah. Monday was Valentine's Day.
Monday was a long time ago, friends. Like, this has been such a long week, and this day, it just in itself has taken a whole week. I feel like we woke up this morning and it was Monday, and now it's like Thursday evening already, and it's wild. But yes, Monday was Valentine's Day. We had a lovely Valentine's Day. We worked, but we worked together, so it was great.
Then what did we do?
And then we ate delicious food together, had amazing conversation, and
I like to brag on this, but like we had a Taco Bell Valentine's.
We had a Taco Bell date.
And this is just a personal thing, but we live in downtown, and most of the Taco Bells inside the loop have been shut down. This is very frustrating. Spencer asks if we will take a picture of them. Absolutely. Just have to make it to the studio. The Taco Bell at Shepherd was torn down. The Taco Bell that was on Timmons? Not Timmons. Taylor Street got torn down. There are no Taco Bells that are inside the loop except on the east side. And so now it's also...
Which barely counts as in our loop.
Also, we've been meal prepping and eating healthy, so Taco Bell is kind of a rarity. So getting to go get bean burritos, substitute beans for beef, no cheese because of stupid dairy allergy, and so you just get a nice beef burrito with red sauce and onions that Jim cannot stand. But that is my treat. That's my happy place at Taco Bell. Tuesday we got to go to a networking event. That was Tuesday, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. I think Tuesday we got to go to a nice little networking event for event planners. met some awesome people. I don't know. Again, this week has just been go, 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 and then today was get up. We went and photographed a doctor's office and the doctor's staff and everything out at 290 in Barker Cypress, and then went to Willowbrook and photographed another magazine article for a window store, Window Magic at Willowbrook. They have been there forever, do amazing work. Uh, what's up?
Tannerific says, don't get me started on Taco Bell. They just tore down the one on Taylor and rebuilt it, but the service is horrible. I waited in line literally 30 minutes for one taco.
Okay. I didn't know that they finished that one. I mean, like once they tore down the one that was on Taylor, it was just kind of like, okay, that one's gone. I can't believe they actually got it back that quick.
Tannerific also asks, have you ever shot with drones? If so, what was your experience like? Any recommendations?
Drones have been a question lately, and sadly, like drones have not been something that I personally have gotten into. Matt has a drone. Paramate has a drone. I've got another friend of mine, Derek, who has drones. I mean, amazing photos, love them. But every time I go to buy one, it just seems like I'm looking at the specs and you're kind of going through like what does what, and then you get the notification the next day that the new one is about to come out. And so you're kind of like, okay, well, can't buy this one now, or at least like even if I was going to buy this one because it's technically good enough, I just need to wait like 3 months till the other one comes out so that I can get that one with the new specs. And then that cycle just repeats over and over again, and you never have a drone. So no, I am not the drone person to ask on that one, sadly.
But we do have a couple of drones that we use, so we'll probably be exploring that some more, and we'll be able to probably come on here one of these lives and be able to give you some feedback.
Yeah, if Matt was here with us, he would be able to tell you about shooting with a drone, but he's not, so. Yeah, I just keep hoping, like, and so back on that, the drone technology seems to be amazing. The ability to shoot like really long exposures with a flying object that is still crisp is really shocking to me. It seems like every single time they're like, oh, like, you know, the sensors are getting a little bit better and they're getting a little bit higher megapixel, and you just kind of you keep waiting for that one that's going to be everything that you want it to be, and in reality, like, you missed out on so many cool shots that you could have taken with a drone if you had it. So
Shannon asks, how was it shooting the doctor? Sometimes they are in a hurry to get back to patients. Did you run into any obstacles? I'll take this one for a little bit.
I want to take it real quick.
Okay, never mind.
The really fun part of shooting a doctor is that they can stitch themselves back up. No, go ahead.
Yeah, the difficult part about scheduling a doctor is scheduling a doctor. Most of the time we're either going in on a lunch break or we're going in at the end of the day. So we're either catching them when they're supposed to be eating or after work once they're already done and they've lost all their patients. I tried to throw it in there too. It wasn't as smooth, whatever. I think that it worked.
So last Friday, I'm remembering now, brain just goes at times. So just today on Instagram, today and yesterday, we had posted a little bit of a photo shoot we did with Dr. Reed. This was probably a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, but Friday we actually had reshot her and her co-dentist, and getting to photograph them, but it was one of those, like, you're trying to set up a time, and it's really difficult when you work with magazines and publications because they have to, I mean, everybody's got deadlines, and so you know that this magazine is going to print on such and such date, so all the articles have to be in and all the things have to be in by this time. But sometimes things have wiggle room. If someone's a big enough client, then, well, we'll let that person be a couple days late or something. And then you start dealing with other people's schedules. So you already have someone that, like, they can't do it this week, but they can do it next week, but the ad's due on Wednesday, but they're booked till Friday. And so then you try to, squeeze something in, and then it turns out that the only time that's available is 4:30 in the Woodlands on a Friday, which is not exactly a fun drive.
No.
But then we got to go out there and basically have like an entire 20, 30 person dentist office, just like completely empty into ourselves. It was rather nice.
It was pretty fun.
I enjoy your hot tub, Tannerific.
That sounds so relaxing.
Yeah, and if you come back next time, feel free to ask questions. I mean, I've shot basically everything for 25 years, so we've got tons of stories and information to share. Anybody that is still watching, if you have questions, anything, story you want to hear about, feel free to ask.
Shannon Graham says, you can take Chris and Red to the hot tub, Tanner, and I say, yes, please. That sounds great.
Run to the gym every now and then, and they've got the big hot tub in there, and there's always like one or two elderly people in the hot tub, and it's just bubbly with some sort of chemical that scares me just a little bit. And as much as like the hot tub sounds good, I just don't want to join that hot tub party. Another time though. Yet.
Hello, welcome to the show, welcome to the live stream. Thank you for being here. We are trying to come at you live every Thursday from 7:30 to 8:30, just answering questions, talking to you guys, just interacting a little bit more, saying hello and what's up, giving you a rundown of what our lives are like, and what we are up to.
We are still working on, today I actually downloaded the OBS Studios so that hopefully at some point we don't have to do an Instagram on the phone and Facebook on the computer. And then maybe we will actually be able to show like a desktop, in which case we can show you guys some of the work we've actually worked on. Or maybe I can show you some of the edits we've done. Yep. Yeah, Zach has definitely been at the LA Fitness hot tub before. Zach had commented on it being the hot tub bacteria party.
Let's see, we did some product photography this week. If you all follow TikTok, I made a little TikTok about it. It was very cute. I'm still learning TikTok, so don't judge me too hard on my TikTok abilities. But yeah, we work with a company that does little hair bands that have cute little baubles on them. And so we set up the product photography studio and went to work on those, and turned out some really good product photography for these little hair bands.
Yeah, there's so we're a part of a networking group, and one thing that we always kind of run into is people don't understand what we do. And you get up and you talk to networking people and you're kind of like, oh, we're photographers and like we do this, and I shoot magazine covers, and we shoot all these famous people and we do this, and then people come back and they're like, so I mean, you guys just shoot like weddings, right? And I mean, yes, like we've shot some amazing weddings for our friends, but that's not really like what we do. And then you try to just like wrap people's minds around what photography is, because like they still just are like, oh well, I mean, I guess I could get a picture of my kid, and yes, we do that, but like we do so much more. And product photography is definitely one of those things where, I mean, people just kind of, they don't really think of where all the pictures on Amazon come from. or all the pictures on Etsy come from.
They come from people like us who do product photography. Hooray!
Yes, Rick. um, Rick had commented, we've known each other for a while, and I've had some fun cars. I guess Rick's had some fun cars too.
Excellent.
Yeah, he pulled up with me next to me one day in the wagon, and the wagon's just being ridiculous, and someone rolls down the window next to me, and I'm just thinking I'm about to get yelled at, and it was him.
Oh, nice. So you probably got yelled at.
Oh yeah. Totally. So today, random story. We're at the second photo shoot that we had, and we parked the car. We get out, and we see this guy like he's getting in his car after leaving Starbucks, and just takes his big Smoothie King thing and just throws it on the ground and like shuts the door. And I kind of look at him, and I'm just like, what? And then I continue to walk, and he decides to stop his car, honk, and wait for red to turn around and look so he can flip us off. But we're like, I don't know.
It was really nice. Just real quality interaction.
Yeah. Like this is what I love in a day.
Yeah.
Rick, I miss the wagon a lot too. There's something about just having a ridiculous car. For those of you that don't know, I used to have a big station wagon, flat black, completely gutted on the inside, 540 horsepower, and just disgusting car. And just, I don't know, there's just something fun about having a car that like you really don't, I mean you care about, but like, you know, that's not the point. It's not to be like, hey look, I'm flashy, or like I just bought the brand new such and such. You're like, no, I've got like a 15-year-old 500 horsepower just silly car, and go beat that all around. And yeah, Charles, he did he did wait for red to turn around. That was nice, I guess. He could have flipped off our backs. I intentionally did not turn around when he honked because I wasn't going to give him that
Bless you.
excuse me. Oh, good thing I didn't do that on camera. People would have seen my sneeze face. But I don't know. The rest of the day has been great. And then we went and met up with. We went over to Antone's on TC Jester and 610. I wasn't going to tell the whole story. Now we have to because you cracked up like this. We had the Antone's sub sandwich place. I probably just screwed up their thing. They make sandwiches.
Po' boys.
Well, but it's like Antone's. Is it just Antone's?
Famous po' boys.
Okay, yeah, Antone's Famous Po' Boys. They have more than one location, and this one made us drive to the wrong one. We get out of the car, we walk, and I'm like,
We walk into this place.
Get my mask, I put my sunglasses on, I undo one button.
There is nobody. There is nobody in this place. And we're like, oh no, is it already over? And we're like, no, it goes later, like it goes until 6:30. And yeah, we get back into the car. I'm like, maybe there's another location, and I pull up the email and I'm like, yep, sure enough, there's the other location. So I'm like, okay, cool, don't worry. It's not gonna take us an hour to get there.
Yeah. 6 o'clock traffic trying to drive over there. Yeah, that was fun. But they're gone.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, sorry. I'm still learning.
So we went to Antone's. They were doing River Oaks Magazine was doing a big kickoff, and Antone's is launching their. I'm gonna screw his name up. One of the ZZ Top people had a fried green tomato sandwich that they have because they didn't really have any vegetarian options. So then they made a vegetarian option, and despite having all the other sandwiches they have, people were still like, this can't be the final thing. It has to have meat. You have to throw bacon on this or something. So yeah, now they're and yes, yeah, Clint. Uh, it was it was definitely one of a kind. Um, Rick, good to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out.
Um, get that one back up to the top. Um, hold on just a second. Shannon said, "Hey, Red, are you learning TikTok on your own? Or are you watching any helpful tutorials?" Red doesn't do
I don't do
tutorials
tutorials.
or YouTube watching if she can't just figure it out by smashing buttons.
I'm a button smasher.
Yeah, it's not gonna
How I
happen.
learn.
Um,
I've made some cute TikToks though.
Yeah.
Go join TikTok.
Zach had asked if we ever do product photography inside of a light box, and this was one of the very first sort of like learning mistakes. Um, Things need shadows, and when you to build depth and drama and shading, whenever you kind of shoot in some of those boxes, you just end up with this very smooth, completely boring light. Um, they're really not they're really not that great. A suggestion would be more for doing, um, I mean, focusing on light from a side and then using maybe like another foam board or something to give yourself a little bounce back to the of that light back. But whenever you are just completely wrapped in white or in light, um, there's just there's no drama, there's no moodiness to it. Shadows disappear, any sort of details kind of go away, and you end up with kind of a very flat, boring image. That might work for some people. I mean, if you were photographing like soap and you just wanted to be like, here's a bar of soap, that could work. Um, yeah, the light banding and strobing, Zach had asked it, he gets a weird light banding and strobing sometimes from the LEDs. You have to have it on a tripod and you have to shoot for a longer shutter speed to allow the strobing effect to kind of go away. Uh, you know, if you're dealing with lights, especially if you have dimmers on the lights or something like that, and you're pulsing at 60 frames per second and you shoot at 1/60th of a second, you know, you've got a whatever one in whatever chance of having a completely blacked out screen because you fired at the split second that they're off. So in those kind of cases, and even whenever you do like interior shooting, nowadays there's so many lights inside a house that are LED bulbs or LED lights. You really have to, you kind of have to like have a longer exposure happen so that they have the time to pulse and not give you that banding that you're getting.
Exactly.
Rick, thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Appreciate the compliment too. Rick said loves the photography, and then I'm an amazing guy.
You really are.
Miss you, man. We'll run into each other on the street, but not bumper to bumper, please.
Definitely, definitely.
Any other questions?
Questions, comments, concerns? Anybody?
Red is going to a concert at 8:30. We might have some people pop through, but I'm going to stay live on here and answer anything that people have as long as we've got questions. One thing that we were supposed to do this week, Brandy had suggested last week, had kind of proposed like a challenge, and I'm still open to challenges, just, you know, sometimes we don't get time to do them. She had asked what would be a way to photograph having peace inside of like a hectic time, and we kind of discussed, you know, having like a brewing cup of tea or something and a long exposure so that the rest of the world is moving around and being very blurry, but then you just have this very still item. In the concepting, Red and I were kind of talking about being able to put something onto like a Lazy Susan and mount the camera and it, and then just kind of spin the two together so that they would stay, but the whole world outside would spin. And then we started talking about kind of taking this to like even advanced levels of balancing or hanging the teapot at an angle um, with the camera, doing a long exposure where the background was kind of going, and then doing another shot where we kind of use something else to pour water into the teapot so that water would then flow out of the spigot into the cup, and then sort of do a composite. So you would have this world is flowing, but then having like the water coming out of the teapot into the cup and maybe have like a little splash. Didn't get to make this happen, but
Yet.
yeah, but concept was there, and that's oftentimes like half the battle. We try to talk a lot about the importance of planning. There's a lot of, I mean, there's a mix of things. Like we talk about with underwater photography, one of the main beauties of underwater photography is that you can't plan a lot of it. I mean, I can tell you put on this dress and go underwater, but as soon as you are in the water, we can't communicate. I'm not able to really give you hand signals because you've got water in your eyes. We might come up and take a breath and I can be like, oh, do this thing, but really like everything is just completely out of your control and you're just catching the moment. However, for a lot of like advertising work, commercial work, or things where you actually have someone that has real expectations, you need to be able to concept, and you need to be able to say like, okay, like, hey, we're doing a photo shoot about this thing, and here's an idea, and potential spam is calling me. But you need to be able to kind of have these concepts and be able to break down of like, okay, I think it would be cool if we had this headdress made of flowers. Well, that would be cool, but like, how do we make this happen? And then how do we build this? What's it going to be built out of? Where do we get the flowers from? What style are they? How do we mount these? Is the photo going to be to show only the front, or are we going to see from the sides too? In which case, we're going to need double-sided flowers. What is the dress going to look like? Can we get someone to provide the dress? What's the location going to look like? Who's going to do the makeup? Is there a certain makeup style that we're going to go for? Is there, okay, now that we have all of that, what is like the lighting style? And you need to be able to like take these just a general thought and concept everything out. Otherwise, at some point along the way, you're going to be sitting there and you're going to be like, oh, I didn't think about that. And now I can only take this one photo because I didn't plan ahead and think that, there's going to be other shots taken, or I didn't think it was going to be a full length shot. So now we didn't have a good dress for it. There's a lot of these type of things that really get in there. And even with the underwater shoots, there's some really beautiful underwater photography out there. It's Brett Stanley, probably screwed his last name up. He runs an underwater photography magazine that's based somewhere not here. He did some work recently, and I'm still trying to figure this out, but it's all underwater, and he basically has floating clouds, and the only thing I can think of, and I think he said that it wasn't just cotton, but that doesn't mean it wasn't like polyester or some sort of stretchy styrene. Like, he might have answered the question just enough to like not tell you, but it's really not far off. But like there is some concepting in there, and I really want to do a shoot this year where we take balloons and fill balloons up with water, and then just put like one single little air bubble in it so that they'll float at like different heights. Theoretically, we could have an underwater shoot where someone is in some big beautiful dress floating through the water amidst balloons that are showing, and especially if we can get like metallic balloons so they have reflections of the person on them. I mean, gorgeous things can happen. We just gotta
Beautiful stuff.
get it. Kratos green screens for product photography. Back on that question, You can do green screen stuff. I'm not a big fan of it. It's so much easier to photograph on like a nice white background or a nice gray background. You can have your shadows theoretically like we worked with another company to kind of set up their brand standards, and what we kind of did with them, they tried to do something where they were shooting on like a gray paper, but depending on who is photographing, the time of day, things like that, like the paper just doesn't always look gray. Sometimes it's lighter gray, sometimes it's darker gray. And what ends up happening is that on their site, they would just end up with all of this kind of mixed match looking stuff. But they wanted, because fashion photography world and high-end product photography would have like a colored background. So a suggestion I would have in there would be that you shoot it on white, like as white as you can go of the paper. When you clip your image, or whenever you shoot it, you can clip your image off, but your shadow is still on the white. Then you can place whatever color you want to behind it, use your white layer, run it as darken or multiply, which will make your shadow transfer onto whatever background you want, and then you have a very consistent, exact same color image every single time for your background, and then your clipped part that's on top just looks normal and looks like it has a very natural shadow. This is something I can, if you want to set some time apart, we can go over sometime and I can show you like a file or something, or kind of how to set something up. Let's go back over to Facebook. Mandy, I really hope you're feeling better. I know you have really gone through some stuff lately, but I'm glad you love our work, and I really hope that you have some stuff hanging on your wall. And if you do have some stuff hanging on your wall, feel free to send me a photo of it, because we would love to post it on the website or share it on Instagram and let people see the wall of your brand new house with, our work hanging on it.
It would be pretty great.
Also great to know that you're doing great, or better, or at least well enough to type.
Definitely.
Andreas,
you're here.
how you doing?
Hello. Welcome.
Andreas, where are you at now? I think you are still in Colorado? Somewhere.
Thank you, Mandy.
Hope the job's going well.
I am just wrapping up here. I am going to go ahead and step out and start getting ready for the rest of the evening. I'm going to leave you all in the very capable hands of Crispix.
Yep. So feel free to keep asking questions. Okay, now it's just me and you. There, perfect. Where to start? Now that Red's not here, mind is a blank. We also did, Clint had checked in on Facebook earlier. We had a little photo teaching lesson for him earlier. Those of you out there who are trying to learn more, or hone your craft, or just bought a brand new camera and kind of don't know where to start, feel free to reach out. We do offer trainings. Just kind of depends on what you need, how advanced you want to go. We also do a lot of like those people out there who want to learn. Like we do offer sessions where you can come in and kind of watch a behind the scenes, or basically assist during a shoot, and kind of get a hands-on feel of how some things are run. Eventually we're going to film some of these so that it's a little bit easier to kind of take what we do and share it, as opposed to just teaching someone and it kind of ending there. Shannon has asked a question. Is there still a lot of editing involved in product photography, or if you have the right lighting, is there minimal editing? So anybody here who's interested in product photography, maybe Zach's still around. I had constructed a rig that I haven't really seen used but basically it it allows you to shoot on a surface, and then sort of at the end you end up with a photo that has no shadows. One thing that is a little bit different about this than even like shooting on a piece of paper, like I was telling Zach, shoot on like a white piece of paper, is that the white piece of paper will still throw a shadow. The shadow itself is still reflected in the image. So, I mean, if you had like a chrome ball and you shine a bright light on it, you're going to have a big chrome shadow, but on the side of the ball, you're still going to have the reflection of the shadow of the ball of the light. Um, so shooting with sort of the way that our rig is set up, I can pretty much get rid of shadows on the ground, which means that the edges of product and the sides of things aren't reflections of the product or aren't reflections of the shadow. That said, no matter how perfect you can shoot something, it is only as good as the product itself. One thing that we've kind of run into a lot is people just kind of, I mean, it's, if you showed up for your headshot and you didn't brush your hair, put on any makeup, iron your clothes or anything like that, there's no amount of lighting that's going to make you look good. There might be a ton of Photoshop afterwards that can help out, but like in that moment, I can make you look like a very well lit mess. But like for us to have the best final outcome, we really need to kind of start with something that is at least the best possible that it can be. We have had people ship us things from, like I had someone ship us 100 little bitty charm rings that like are on your finger and they have like a letter or something on them. They probably had 100 of these inside of a Ziploc bag about this big that was shipped in the mail from Mexico. And by the time it got to us, I mean, it was just, they had all rubbed together for, you know, thousands of miles. Um, and one thing that's really hard with photography is that the cameras and the detail, and once you put good lighting on something, every single flaw shows up. I'm sure you guys, well, we'll take pictures of someone's face, my face, for example, and you start zooming in, and suddenly you see every single spot or I'm gonna like turn the light off now. But you see so much more detail than what just you would might normally see just looking at something. And now it's, if I'm holding a ring, it's this big in my hand. If I put a ring on the screen, it's this big. So you're just experiencing life a little bit differently, and all of those flaws show up. We worked with a company that we cannot say the name of, non-confidential, non-disclosure agreements. But they were doing the little rubber wristbands that say something, and these were coming from probably not the greatest quality press in China somewhere, and you would end up with, whenever you do that type of injection molding, if it is cooled too quickly, you would get flaking on the edges. So it's something that is not noticeable at all when you just look at it. But you take a picture of it and suddenly, you have stronger shadows or you have harsher light, and suddenly all those little details show up, and the client is kind of like, oh, like these don't look that great. And you're like, yeah, because the product isn't that great, and you're just seeing the details that you hadn't seen before. So there is definitely a part where you can take the perfect photo, and the perfect photo is going to show you all of those details that you don't really want to see. It's kind of like like we do a lot of car photography, and you go photograph the car, and suddenly you can see the little ding in the door, or you can see that the paint's a little faded in some places. Things that like you never would have noticed until you have a super high resolution photo, and you're kind of seeing something through like a new set of eyes. So, okay, that was a fun rant. Um, who's next? The we did do last week. We had an anti-Valentine Day shoot. I don't know if you guys have checked the story. I've posted some things on the Facebook story and the Instagram story. There are some photos that we take that do not make it to the wall just because they are not for everybody. So we had a anti-Valentine's Day shoot that was a little bit of the darker side, darker, moody boudoir Valentine's Day. Um, Beautiful shots. Those of you out there that want to see them, feel free to send me a message. I'm happy to share them. They came out amazing. But that was like a really fun shoot. And with that, we got to do a little bit of kind of intense editing processes. Made some really like creepy, beautiful artwork. Um, but when people want you to photograph their wedding, they also don't necessarily want to see creepy, beautiful artwork either. So we have to walk the line. Um, yeah, Shannon said she loved them. It's funny, like some people saw the photos and were just like, you know, oh my God, I have to have this in my life. How can we make this happen? And then I showed another photographer friend of mine these, and she was just kind of like, oh, um, it's kind of a lot going on, and I don't think my clients would be into this. And you're just like, oh, that's fine. They're not your clients. Um, so we enjoy those people. Um, so we have about 4 minutes left. If you have some questions, feel free to ask them. Um, it's just me by myself now, so I don't have a lot to talk about. This weekend, we are trying to have a photo shoot with baked beans, and that's as much as I'll tell you. If you want to know more, you'll have to send me a message. Um, I think we have. I know. Oh, yeah, and we are. We know we have some people here from in our group that are from St. Thomas University. This weekend we get to shoot the St. Thomas University Gala. This will be a pretty fun, exciting event. It's going to be at the Hotel Zaza downtown, or well, in the Montrose. Uh, really kind of excited about this. It'll be a beautiful place, and I've always loved the University of St. Thomas. Kind of growing up in the Montrose, growing up being like post high school years, but hanging out in the Montrose a lot in my early adulthood. St. Thomas was just always there and was kind of a staple. And even if you were walking over to, the Black Lab or something, you probably just walked right across the campus, or you hung out with people on the campus, and it's always had a very close place in my heart. Um, and this weekend we get to shoot there. Hello, Ashley. It's okay, you can talk.
Pulling the polar bear's nuts out there.
Okay, you can't say that. And Shannon, no, the baked bean shoot is not going to happen at Taco Bell, but it's a good idea. Um, so 59 minutes. 1 minute left if you have any questions. If not, we can all just say goodbye, and I will still just ramble to myself for the next 47 seconds. If you guys do ask any questions, I will hang out longer than that, but just giving you a heads up. In the meantime, let me run through a couple other things. Once again, we do have the newsletter. Go to the website, sign up for the newsletter. We have TikTok. We are trying to work on this. Nia is new to the team, and she's going to be helping us try to really kind of push some of our other social media content. we have the Instagram, we have the Facebook page, we have the website, so you have tons of ways to get in touch with us. Okay, that said, I think we will go ahead and sign out. Thank you all for hanging out, and we'll see you again next Thursday. Okay, thanks. Goodbye.